Hello, welcome to Innovative Health Podcast. I'm your host, Kristen Wolosinovich, and I'm so excited. I've got three very handsome gentlemen next to me. Without further ado, it's my honor and privilege to introduce Kurt Ketzler. Hello.
Hello, how are you?
Good. How are you?
Excellent, thanks.
Thank you for being here. And my guest co-host, Michael Manley.
How are you doing today, Kristen?
Very well, sir. Thank you so much for being here today.
Glad to be here.
We love having you in the studio. And then, Kurt, your business partner, Grant Allen. Hello.
Hello. Thank you for having us.
Well, thank you for being here. So, you two gentlemen own a company called Vision, correct?
Correct.
Okay. I will start with you, Kurt. Tell me a little bit about your company and what you do.
So we offer consulting on the growth and development aspect for medical marijuana. It's been thus far medical marijuana. Going forward from the commercial sector and recreational, we offer services for whether it's talking about how to grow the product, how to get your product into the stores, the lab testing, the residual solvents, and things of that nature.
Wow, that's pretty intense. So you handle all the consulting side of it. Now, is it Michigan-based or are you across the country?
We are locally in Michigan. However, we do have people that we consult for that are national.
Okay, very good. And Grant, you handle a lot of the marketing side, a lot of the business side, the back end of it. How long have you been involved with Vision?
I would really say from day one.
Day one.
It's kind of ironic. Kurt's flower shop, my parents actually worked there after they retired.
Oh, really?
My mother. So me and Kurt grew up together, and we've always wanted to go into business together. We're both passionate about healthcare. We're both passionate about removing the stigma away from the cannabis industry. So this was like a perfect opportunity for us to form a family business.
Well, that is, I hear a lot of passion when you talk, and we talk about Ketzler. You are a legacy here in the Flint community, correct? It was flowers.
Yes, like I stated, my family has owned and operated a horticulture-based business in Flint since the 1850s.
Since the 1850s, you remember Ketzler flowers, don't you, Michael Manley?
Absolutely.
That's all you. It's where you got your corsages and your proms, and that's where you went to.
I'm that old. They've been around that long.
1850.
Got in trouble once or twice.
1850, right? So, and besides the consulting, you also make products, correct?
Correct.
What are some products that you make?
Smoking the flower, anything that's burned, the carcinogens are not healthy. So therefore, a lot of the products that we make are topicals, edibles, vaporizers, things of that nature, where you don't have to actually physically burn the product.
Okay, so it's all topical. And talking to you real quickly, Grant, how has this kind of changed the industry in terms of healthcare, right? Because like you said, there is all this stigma with cannabis, but there's a lot of data out there that supports how cannabis is changing lives and helping people.
That's correct. It has a very positive effect on cancer patients and them getting an alternative choice between an organic form of medicine versus, like you said, the opioid epidemic.
Yes.
The biggest thing is making sure that they get a wider range of organic choices versus just our traditional modern medicine.
Right. Because you're looking now at cancer patients or epilepsy patients, depression, pain management.
Exactly.
And right now it's legal, right, to use marijuana if you have a medical marijuana card, correct?
Correct.
Okay. This is why Michael Manley's here. We're going to talk about the legal side of it. So coming up, and this is why it was so important to have you both on in a timely manner, because my understanding coming up on the ballot is for recreational use, correct, Mike? Could you kind of elaborate on that a little bit?
First of all, I want to tell you and the listeners that in meeting Kurt and Grant, they're two nice young men.
Very much.
That want to do things right.
That's correct.
Okay? And that's been the biggest problem with the Medical Marijuana Act in Michigan, is there were so many gray areas. It didn't give people the roadmap to do it right.
Okay.
And a lot of it was subject to interpretation. It's frustrated citizens, it's frustrated police officers, prosecutors, and defense attorneys, and especially judges. When you don't write legislation the right way and you have to continually amend it,
Sure.
that was the biggest problem with the Medical Marijuana Act. I don't know what the Recreational Marijuana Act actually specifically details, but the more detailed it is, the better that young men like this who want to do the right thing
Right.
can follow the law. We
Right.
all want to follow the law, but it's up to the legislature to write a law that is coherent and we all can understand.
Because it became subject to interpretation, correct? And then it kind of was like the Wild West.
That's a very good way to put it. It became curbside interpretation
That's
by
right.
individual police officers. One police officer may interpret it one way, another agency may have interpreted it another way, and you had legitimate people in that industry that were caregivers that had their livelihood just taken away by a search warrant, break down your door, take all your product, take all your possessions, forfeit your property, scare your family,
Right.
charge you criminally, only to have the case dismissed or resolved at something very minimal. On the flip side, you had people that abused the Michigan Medical Marijuana
Sure.
Act by not complying with the standards of it. And I want to be very clear, marijuana is not legal in Michigan, even with a medical marijuana card. It's not legal.
Okay.
What that does is the medical marijuana card gives you an absolute defense to a charge of possession of marijuana. So you can still be arrested, but that is a defense to being charged with medical or possession of marijuana.
Well, and my understanding as well is if you have a medical marijuana card, you cannot get a CPL license. You cannot own a gun, correct?
Well, what happens is that people that are against the law, they want to legislate morality, and so they throw in barriers to
Yes.
young men like
To
these
deter
gentlemen.
them. Yes.
Deter people that are using it for legitimate purposes, and you can see it in a number of different areas. So the federal law says marijuana is illegal under any circumstance, and so now you can't own or buy a firearm if you are using marijuana.
So I'm going to ask these guys a couple questions as well, but real quickly, why is the recreational use being put on the ballot? How was that instilled? Why is that happening? What is the purpose of that?
Well, the public stood up.
The public.
Yeah, and the public got petitions and they put it on the ballot.
Got it.
So this
Okay.
was not legislatively driven, because how many people are going to get elected
By
on the
saying,
west side of the
"Hey!"
state,
Yeah.
when they want to say, I'm all for marijuana, because,
Right.
and they're probably the ones in the back room smoking it the most.
That's exactly right.
You get the hypocritical people in there, and that's what they do. They talk out of both sides of their mouth. But, we are a society of laws, and we are citizens, and the citizens put this on the ballot by their signature. And now we're going to vote on it.
Very good.
And we'll see what the public does. And for these two gentlemen here, again, they just want to do it the right way.
That's right.
And they want to be legal. They want to have a business and help people.
Right.
And so to judge them and what their business is, again, that's their right. And there is a market out there, and it's a disruptive market, and especially in healthcare when we talk about the opioid crisis.
That's right.
I've never had anybody beat their wives under the influence of marijuana.
Right?
I've
That's
never
exactly
had
right.
anybody shoot somebody under the influence of marijuana.
Wow.
Okay? No
Great
fights
points.
under,
And talking to you two, it probably wasn't the easiest uphill battle to get rocking and rolling. I mean, let's be truthful here. You probably could do it the wrong way and make a lot more money than what you're doing right now, but you're doing it. You're following the law. You're doing it the way you're being told to do it. And it hasn't always been easy, has it?
No, even when I was turned to my family and approached them and said, hey, this is what I want to get involved with. My aunt, being an elected official, she kind of said, hey, I don't really know if
You can do it, but you got to change your name. You're fine, but you'll be Smith, Kurt Smith. Yes. Yeah, but I can see where you got some pushback just because there wasn't an understanding on how it helps, right? So have you had to educate the family? What are their thoughts now on it?
Yeah, I think across the board, with everyone, that everyone's become more educated just with time and
I
had
think
the
so.
conversation, and it's becoming more socially acceptable.
Well, and I think too, because you now have some medical research that is supporting the work that you're doing, and you have high-end influencers and leaders who are actually showing data, correct?
Statistical data analysis is the largest thing that's going to help to gain knowledge of anything, no matter what it is.
So tell me a little bit about your business, because I know it's pretty technical too. Like, you can operate from your phone, from what I understand. Like, you have a state-of-the-art system. You're just brilliant. From what I've heard on the street, is you're pretty brilliant. Am I right? Am I right, Grant? He's pretty brilliant.
He is.
So he's kind of the mastermind from the scientist side, where you're kind of on the marketing side, the brand
business side.
ambassador.
Right.
Yeah, talking it, but he's got a big brain, doesn't he?
He's the mad scientist, as I always like to call him.
So what I understand is the products are like state of the art. The cream. Tell me about some of the topical cream that and what it helps with. I know I have some cream for my daughters who are both athletes because they have a lot of aches and pains, and the cream is like incredible.
Yep, aches, pains, so anything from like tendons, muscular, migraines, menstrual cramps.
Cramping.
Migraines.
Exactly.
Yes.
Yeah. And in conjunction, because we use a lot of the organic essential oils and stuff, so not only just from the aromatherapy aspect, but you're also using the activated compounds of the cannabinoids that have all the medicinal benefits of the analgesic and the anti-inflammatory and things of that nature.
And that is THC free, correct?
So there's THC and CBD, which the common misconception is that the CBD product that you can buy over the counter is a hemp-based product, which generally contains no THC. By law, it should not contain THC.
Because you can buy those at any health store, and that's used a lot, like I think as a sleep aid or as a calming agent, such as that. Am I correct? Or even pain management.
It still has anti-inflammatory properties,
Okay.
just not the same as those of a cannabis product.
Okay.
So CBD derived from a cannabis product is going to have a small percent of THC, and that's going to act as a binder for uptake.
Okay, very good. So, how many ointments do you offer, Grant? How many products do you guys offer currently? And how can we get them? How do people purchase them?
Well, right now we're normally carrying lip balms, we have lotions, we
I
have
love
bath
that.
bombs. We're in the process of trying to widen our product line as well. So we're tampering with a few things that we have not released to the public yet, but we have a website that's going to be coming.
Okay.
And everything is donation based as well.
So right now, do you sell in stores, or how do you get your products to people?
So some of our products are in some of the local dispensaries.
Oh, okay.
Correct.
And then you can buy from us directly from our website, which is Vision on Demand.
VisionOnDemand.com.
Correct.
Okay, perfect.
And they would need a medical marijuana card at this point in time.
Correct.
That's correct.
Yeah.
Yes.
So to stay legal,
Got
they,
it,
they
got it, got
sell
it.
almost like a drugstore would as a prescription.
Oh, so do they have to provide a number or the information, and then you can, in turn, provide them the product, correct?
That's correct.
Yeah. And then you see Big Pharma wants to take down nice young men like this that are trying to provide the same type of services that pharmacies do.
That's exactly
It's
right.
all about the money. Follow the money. You know that.
I do know that. So my next question is, do we think this is going to get passed from a recreational side? Just out of curiosity, do we think? Maybe?
I definitely think it will,
it's a good
because
chance.
like we had spoke earlier, from it was 62% supermajority when it came across for.
Yeah, I think that, I mean, to get those signatures.
Was
and
a
I
big
thi-
deal in the first place.
Right, and not a lot of people admit what they do in private.
Sure.
But when they get in that ballot box, I think you'll see that the
people
public
will have-
speak.
Come on.
Yeah,
Very interesting.
it will be very interesting.
So if we're looking at a monetary side of this topic, you look at states such as Oregon or Colorado, who now, from a state point, are really benefiting monetarily. Is that something the state of Michigan could possibly see these benefits? And would it benefit the state and the lead? Go ahead.
The city of Tacoma, actually, they only have 16 dispensaries, and so far this year they've generated $3.6 million in revenue.
Okay, so the answer is yes.
Yes. Anything recreational, that's a revenue push. It's a revenue base, and it closes off, like we spoke about, the gray area that's currently the system.
Very important that they write the law correctly,
Okay.
and that it's enforced fairly.
Got it.
It's regulated, it's taxed, and we make sure people don't abuse it. So the analogy I use is, if we were back in Prohibition days,
Right.
would you have voted to make alcohol legal? Because it was illegal
Right.
at the time, and it created a black market, and it created a criminal enterprise
Right.
for a lot of people, whether it was in a speakeasy or the illegal distribution of alcohol.
Right.
Once it became legal again, it was regulated.
Got it.
And a lot of people then make a choice of whether to use alcohol or not. There are consequences to using alcohol and getting behind the wheel of a car. Those same consequences would exist.
Should
So-
apply for this
Absolutely.
as well.
So the public has a right to public safety, and if somebody is high or stoned and driving down the road, they're going to be in trouble.
Yes.
So there are going to be consequences for those types of actions. On the flip side,
Got it.
we are America, and people do have the right to have a beer, or in this case, if they want to use marijuana in whatever way these gentlemen are selling it.
And that's the main thing, the perception. We have to break down the negative stigma to the cannabis industry and further educate the general public on all the benefits.
Right. Because when it is being used the right way, it's saving lives. And it's
Exactly.
really helping people. And it's helping people live, whether they're dealing with brain cancer or dealing with these, it's very sad, but it's helping them. So if they're using it in that case, it's a whole different ballgame, and it's all about public education.
True.
And it should be a choice, because
I think so, too.
just like alcohol, or if you're on using Vicodin as a prescription or Xanax as a prescription, nobody wants their lawyer high.
Right.
Okay?
That's exactly
I'm not
right.
going to be able to walk in and talk to somebody under the influence of any type
That's
of
right.
substance. Nobody's going to want to go to their doctor or their surgeon and have that. But other people, in their own home, in the privacy of their own home, during their time, there has to be that choice.
It's their choice.
There's consequences to using it correctly, and there's consequences, and not. And in this case, gentlemen like these two young men here, in a disruptive type of business, to do it the right way is going to be good. And they're very responsible.
Very
and
impressive.
Yeah, they want to do it
Yes.
the right
Thank
way.
you.
So what do we see in the future for Vision? What's coming up? What's more to come for Vision? Because I really think this is only the beginning for you guys.
So we have a wellness center that's in the works that will be a completely different approach to.
I love it.
And can't really talk too
That's
much
fine.
about it, but
Okay.
that in regards to like we had discussed, the fact in which we'd like to see an initiative, and we'd like to work on reentry programs and things of that nature, and reduce sentencing for those who were part of a nonviolent crime,
Right.
Exactly.
medical marijuana related.
Well, it's exciting. How does this make you guys feel? It's probably pretty fun to do your passion, wake up every day and work in something that you're extremely passionate about.
I'm just happy that
I'm just
I know
happy to be
people
alive.
Right, people who that I know that's in my family who have died because of cancer or dealing with chronic pain issues. We're offering them a wider range of products and
Alternatives.
services. Exactly, instead of having to go to a chemical based medicine like Xanax or something like that.
Exactly.
And the holistic approach is really on the move right now.
Truly.
From farm to table, and that's where our slogan kind of comes in, from seed to shelf.
Yes, and we talk a lot of times in innovative health, it's taking the best of Eastern medicine and the best of Western and marrying them both, because truly
Exactly.
that's the approach to take for care.
It can't be
Exactly.
like a Band-Aid type deal. It's got to be a fix-all.
We agree.
And I got to tell you, it takes a lot of courage for these young men to get out there and something that they believe in, because as they've tried to get over the misconception,
Right.
just think of the millions and millions of dollars spent marketing against marijuana use.
Exactly.
And for years and years, that's what they have spent money to market, that it's dangerous,
Right.
that it is illegal, that it's dirty, those types
is
of
the
things.
gateway.
It is the gateway.
Gateway drug.
And again, it's going to be a choice, but these two young men have the courage to go out there and be at the forefront of something that is health related.
Absolutely, 100%.
Very great.
You're welcome, Grant. See, I brought the right person on, didn't I? Well, I want also our viewers and listeners to know we are going to do a story in the upcoming Innovative Health about vision and what you're doing and what is your future. And thank you guys so much, like Mike said, coming on and having the courage to really move the needle and change the world. It takes a lot of courage, and you guys are doing it. So big thank you. Kurt Katzler,
Thank you for having us.
will you come back on the show?
Whenever you call.
Yay! Michael Manley, look for Manley's Law podcast. We cannot wait. It's going to be absolutely amazing. And he'll be tackling all of these topics. I mean, these are really important topics. So we're really excited for you. Thank you.
Look forward to my call into that one as well.
You got it. Thank you. Very proud of both of you.
Thank you.
Yeah,
Thank you
Grant
very
Allen
much.
from Vision. And again, one more time, the website. And again, we will preface you do have to have a medical marijuana card. But what is the website?
So the website directly to our website is Vision on Demand. And we also have Vision S2S, which is Vision C to Shelf. And that's where you can find out more about our company.
Perfect. Well, thank you so much, gentlemen. I really appreciate it. It's been amazing.
Not a problem.
And thank you to our viewers and listeners. You have been watching and listening to Innovative Health Podcast.